family history for you there.
Nice. There we go. Nice. And so tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I wear a few hats. Predominantly, I'm a radio presenter. I'm also a radio producer for the BBC and a podcast producer for Sony Music, as well as a few other indie companies, bringing some podcast shows to life, but a lot of audio stuff. I'm also, as of the last few weeks, dabbling into some brand strategy, which has been interesting. But we can get into that in a little bit.
Nice. So you're doing a lot right now. I can see.
Little too much.
Busy.
Yes.
I like to see that. So tell me about radio producing. What does that entail?
Absolutely.
And podcast producing.
So I predominantly work across Radio 1, Radio 2, 1 Extra, and BBC Radio London. And when you think of radio production, it's basically anything and everything to help bring a live show to life. So it could be from guest ideation, so deciding who we want to have on various shows, to guest bookings, to script, to content, to the actual live show management, fielding calls. So at the BBC, because it's a national platform, you get a lot of public people tuning in and calling and being like, well, that's not quite right, and having to kind of manage a lot of live listeners. I've worked with everyone from Trevor Nelson to Fearne Cotton to just, all of these amazing...
Yeah, Fearne Cotton's old school. I remember I used to watch her like way
Top of
back.
the Pops.
Yeah, top of the Pops. Yeah, classic.
And she is phenomenal.
How is she to work with?
I mean, incredible. Exactly what you think she would be. It's great. Super down to earth. Really, really easy. I'm lucky, man. I get to do what they do, and I get to watch what they do at the highest possible level. It's a masterclass.
Nice, amazing. What's one challenge of your job?
Yeah. How cyclical it is. I always say that. It never really ends, because especially when you're doing live radio, for example, let's take Fearne's show as an example. She does Sound of the 90s, which is a 90s show every Saturday night. Now that's every week for a time continuum. I've been working on it for 3 years.
Wow.
It's the same structure, it's the same features, it's the same script, and we just plug in different music, as it were. So it can get a bit uninspiring at times, because you're not necessarily allowed to go outside of the lines when it comes to BBC type stuff.
Okay, they got strict guidelines.
You're not doing pirate radio here, so they've got very strict guidelines. There are some artists you cannot play, like an R. Kelly or
what about
whoever else.
Oh yeah, right? I was gonna. No, get him out of there. Get him out of there.